Everyone is having a wonderful morning. I am Amy at Wise Monkey Quilting in Denison, Iowa, and you can find me here almost every Friday morning at 8 o'clock where I make a quick and easy project you can make for yourself. And I think you're going to like the one this morning. We're a little close to Christmas, so sometimes you have to say, okay, I'm done making Christmas stuff and think about the new year. So this is what we're making this morning. It is a cup storage caddy, a way to get organized in the new year. It looks so great next to your sewing machine. It has little pockets on the front. You can put things in and you can stick your stuff inside. This ribbon is up a little too high. We're going to put it a little lower today when we make one, and then it's going to be perfect. So do I have people joining me this morning?
Well, so far, and I am going to turn this up a little bit so I can see better. So far, we have April and Lois and Deanna and Kathy.
Good morning.
Lori is checking in this morning. I don't know if she's next door yet, but good morning, Lori. Hi, Stacy. Stacy from Knox, or Stacy in Knox.
Okay.
Marge and Cheryl, Marianne, hello there. Jane, Carol and Rick, good morning. Little A, Bernie, Marla and Rhonda, Karen, Cindy, Julie, Colleen, Jackie. She's at home having a snow day. So.
Oh, very good.
Hi, Brenda, Tina.
We're in another winter weather advisory for tomorrow, so that will be fun.
Janice and Jerry are checking in. Steve says good morning to one and all. Hi, Kathy. Hopefully the worst of the floods have missed you out there, but it is some terrible flooding out there. So it's sad to watch the news when you see your neighbors from around the country going through things like that. So
you have our thoughts and prayers for you and all of your neighbors out there on what is going on.
So good morning, Maggie. Deb. She was just watching you on YouTube making the Santa.
Okay.
Hi, Lee, Connie, Linda, Jeannie, Debbie, Cindy. She says, hey, neighbor. Cindy, we're not too far apart right now.
We are not too far apart right now.
So, if you're sitting at your sewing machine anyway. So, hi, Lisa, Deborah, Martha. Kathy says, yep, 225 of us. So, no, with the flooding.
Yeah. Oh, for the flooding.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Let's see.
That's not good.
Lori, she says, of course, she's next door. She's got sewing to do.
Of course.
Cindy's checking in from Minneapolis. People are buying a lot already today. So Kathy says she's high and dry. So that is good.
Good.
Wish everyone was. That's the sad part. Stacy's ready for some snow. She says everybody's getting snow but her.
Oh.
Hi, Sherry.
I bet
Bonnie.
There's a lot of people that would send some your way.
I bet those in Minnesota and tomorrow in Iowa and the Dakotas and all through this area are ready to give it up already. Hi, Julie, Lisa, Sharon, Sandy. Sandy says they're all up and working this morning.
Oh, very good.
Oh, okay. I get what you're putting down now, Kathy. She said there's 325 online. So, okay.
Okay. I thought that's what it was when you first said that.
Hi, Georgina, Susan, and Judy. And as of right now, I am caught up, I believe.
Okay. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I come almost every Friday for a quick and easy project you can make for yourself. And what a great time as we get past the holidays to organize. You know, we all want to organize our things. That is kind of the reason for January, is try to get ahead of all of that stuff. So we have a
So you're saying it might be some New Year's resolutions to clean?
There's always New Year's
Okay.
resolutions to clean.
Okay.
Clean, organize, and declutter is kind of the main things. And this might help a little bit. So what we're offering you this morning, when you get our package, we have 5 colorways. You are going to get 2 fat quarters, coordinating fat quarters to make your cup. You're going to get a stadium cup so that you can do this. And we're also going to include some ribbon that coordinates with your, it won't be this yellow. This is what I just had, but now I have other ribbon. So we will coordinate your ribbon with the fat quarters. So you're going to get 2 fat quarters, a cup, and the ribbon. The only thing else that you're going to need to make it is some batting. And we do have some batting this morning if you want to purchase. A lot of people have leftover batting pieces from when you get quilts back from the quilter. So that's what you need this morning. So let's go through the different colorways.
Julie said but if it snows too bad tomorrow and into Sunday, that she will be snowed in at Wise Monkey. So
that would be a terrible thing. Just terrible.
Good morning.
Have to add a few more days to the retreat.
Good morning, Sharon. All right.
All right. So this one, the colorway that I did with this are these 2 fat quarters. I'm calling them green. It is really more of a dusty green with this really pretty green and pink, kind of it's not really a stripe, but sort of a stripe for the pockets. So that they're $12.99 for the 2 fat quarters, the cup, ribbon, and the pattern. I have the pattern wrote out. Not only is the pattern taking you step by step, but it also includes instructions if your cup is bigger than this. So if you make this one, you really like it, and you want to do something with a bigger cup.
Bigger or smaller? Bigger
or smaller. I'll give you instructions on how to calculate that for how big to cut your stuff. So this one is sold 100 green. And then I thought this one was really pretty. So you could do yellow for your cup and then these yellow daisies. And it does work okay to use some fabric for your pockets that is kind of directional, will still work. So here's a bright, cheery, it's not bright yellow by any means. It's just a nice yellow with some yellow daisy fabric. So I'm calling it Yellow Daisy. Sold 100 Yellow Daisy.
You're really being inventive today, going outside the box with your naming.
I know. Then the one we're going to be making this morning is, again, another inventive, hearts. So you can do a pink for your cup, and then I'm going to do the hearts for the pockets. Really, it's the same amount of fabric. So if you want to do your cup in the hearts and your pockets in the pink or other, you can. You can do it however you want. So this one is sold 100 hearts. And these are little conversation hearts. So some say hugs, some say kiss me. Maybe it's just hugs and kiss me on the little conversation hearts. Then I love this teal fabric. So I have a dark teal with this, it's got teal and maybe a little bit of browns. Would make a beautiful cup. If you like teals, here you go. So again, sold 100 teal. And then I thought this would be very pretty and very springy or summery to make winter seem not so dull and dreadful. So we've got some of this beautiful floral fabric with some green grunge. So I'm calling this sold 100 flowers. And with each one, you get 2 fat quarters, you get the cup, and you're going to get some coordinating ribbon so you can make one. Only other thing you would need is batting. And guess what? This is craft size batting. This is the same batting that we use in our quilting. It's Quilter's Dream batting. It is a really nice thin batting that doesn't pull apart, doesn't stretch. This one is a 36 inch by 46 inch piece, so you would be able to get a lot of these cups from just one package of batting. It's $9.99 and it sold $101. And then we just got in a big shipment of Pima thread, and who doesn't always need just a very neutral. This is Pima 8003, a very neutral off-white thread, which would work with any of these if you don't have that specific color. So if anybody needs any Pima thread number 8003, it's $12.99 and it is sold $103.
And shipping for the day.
Shipping is $5 flat rate shipping unless you spend $25 or more, and then your shipping is free.
Good morning, Victor. There was a couple of comments here that I wanted to read here quick. Good morning, Becky, and I promise that I am still working on your wind chimes. Hi, Angie. Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
And if I missed anybody, I apologize.
So, like I said, when I send you the directions, which are in these kits, it's going to give you how to measure your cup. Now, these are all the same size that we're sending out, but if you make the first one and then you decide you want to make more, but your cup is a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, you'll have what you need to figure out your dimensions for your cup.
And Georgina, if you want just cups, we'll contact us here at the store. We can set you up with that. And then the other thing about the cups, these patterns are going to fit cups that are in like the 22 to 25 ounce range. Yeah. I know there's like 16 ounce cups and that type of thing, but this is going to work best on like a 22 to 25 ounce.
But I will give directions on how to measure your cup and know what size to cut. Okay, so what you need is you're first going to cut 2 pieces of whatever fabric you want as the main fabric for your cup. And you're going to layer them one right side down, and then you're going to put in that layer of batting that you've cut. And this is the batting that is the Quilter's Dream. See, it's a very low loft batting. It doesn't pull apart. It is a great batting to use. And I'm going to layer that right on top, and then I'm going to put another piece of fabric on so you have this sandwich, and then you can quilt it however you want. What I like to do and what I did on this is just some straight line quilting on the machine. Makes it so easy to do. So the easy way to do that is I'm going to lay my ruler on here, and I am just going to find the center of my fabric, which is about right here. Really isn't going to make too much of a difference. I'm going to put my ruler on there, line it up straight, and then the first mark I'm going to make is my center. Yeah, I didn't know whether my friction pen was working, but it is.
Good morning, Pam.
And then I am just going to place a mark every 1 inch. And this would be a great time if any of you want to practice your free motion quilting. You can quilt this however you like. I've always told people that if you're new to free motion, or if you have just purchased a Grace long arm from us and you're just doing it yourself without any automation, the easiest way to start practicing free motion quilting is just to do circles. Circle, circle, circle. And then, you know, it looks good, and that is a great way to start. So I'm just making these 1-inch lines, and then I am just going to quickly quilt them. It sure does not take long to do this.
Good morning, Sherry. And if Amy is working on her horn sewing table this morning, a few of you have taken advantage of some of these Black Friday / holiday deals. So if there's something that you're interested in, please let me know, and we can get you prices, and they can be shipped right to your door. So it's not something that you have to come to Denison, although we would love to see you. But it's something that we can have shipped direct to you from Horn of America. There are tables and chairs and all of that right from their West Virginia location.
So I'm starting sewing on that center one, and then if you notice, I go to one side, I go back and forth. This way it doesn't pull your fabric to one side. So I started on the center. I'm going to my next line. I'll cut my fabric, or cut my thread, and I'm just going to turn this around and go back the other way on my next line. And then it just kind of keeps your fabric from shifting. Super easy to do. On this one, I am using a light pink thread. It almost looks white, so you could use white or whatever color you want.
Bonnie, I don't know if it's a good day, but she's been cleaning house and lost track of time.
Oh?
Bonnie said saving her money for just that. We'll keep you in mind, Bonnie. That sounds great. April says, does Amy use the small stitch length for quilting or larger?
I use the same one that I normally use for quilting. You could go, I mean, it's all a personal preference on what you like. If you wanted to increase your stitch length, you certainly could.
Dixie says she's trying to finish the Villa Rosa UFO today. Ready to make and sew binding. Woohoo, need to gift it next Tuesday. So, but hi, Sherry. And Donna. Good morning, Donna.
All right, everybody all done with all of your Christmas preparations? Or is that a silly question? What's left to do? Are you done shopping? Is it just time for baking? Or what's left? Once I get one side done, I'm just going to go back to that center and work the other way.
Mary's checking in from Kentucky. Hi, Heather.
See how fast this quilt's? Super easy to do.
Sherry just started shopping.
Just started shopping.
And April is all done.
Excellent.
And Bonnie says, silly question.
It is a silly question. Time just gets away from you in December. It just goes so fast.
Sherry's going through the stack of presents and starting to wrap.
Okay. That is like a whole enterprise in itself, taking all those presents and wrapping them. I just saw a picture. My daughter sent me a picture of her tree, and I said, so there's no presents underneath? And she went, no, because then the kids, when they're home alone, will unwrap them, see what's in them, and then wrap them back up. She goes, they're not seeing any presents until the time. I wonder how she knows this. It couldn't be because that's what she did when she was little.
Brenda says, still a little shopping star table runner to quilt, then done, and some pot holders still to go.
Okay, well, you're almost there. And I'm almost done. This is my last one.
Georgina says they're going to do a Christmas breakfast. Martha says that she needs to do some shopping and baking.
And then I'm just trimming off some of these threads here along the edge.
And Deborah says she's at retreat. She goes about priorities. So she's at retreat. So.
Exactly. Priorities is right.
Deb says she's done if she doesn't want to spend more money.
Good point.
Connie's done shopping, done wrapping, and shipped everything to her son's family in Texas. Good job.
Nice.
Hi, Ilma. Good morning to you.
Good morning. All right, I'm just trimming off some of these threads. Okay, so here's my 2 pieces of fabric, and I have just quilted every inch along there. So the next thing we're going to do is we have to trim a little bit at the top that fits down in our cup. So I am just going to measure over the top and make a mark. And then I'm going to find my center and then go up an inch. So if I find the center of my length and go up an inch, I'm going to put a mark. And then I'm going to put my ruler at the mark on the top and the mark on the side, and I'm going to cut that off.
Stacy said she was the best at snooping. She could unwrap and rewrap quick. I'm guessing that maybe Mom and Dad or Santa Claus may have known that.
Really?
I think they have an idea.
I don't know about that.
Sherry says her daughter did that peeking. Now she puts the gifts in their gun safe.
And I'm just going between the 2 marks that I did and cut off that corner. There. Okay. So now we have our piece. This piece folds down and fits into the cup. And then this is the bottom. So now we're going to do our pockets.
Mary Ann, those were reindeer in the back of the pickup you saw in Denison. They were, is it animatronic ones? So they would have been behind like a storefront window or something like that. So kids could walk by and see the deer moving and stuff is what those were.
Right.
They just weren't in place yet, but right. Yes, they were reindeer.
Randy, will you hand me that little bit of fabric over there for the hearts? There you go. Thanks. All right. So on your fabric, this piece was a little too short. I don't know what I was thinking. It must have been late at night. So make sure this is the same. It's going to be close.
Sharon says she's done buying, wrapping everything except for the 2 quilts. I still have to make. So well, you're pushing it there maybe.
For the 2 quilts?
Yeah.
You still? Okay. All right. So what I'm doing is, you don't want a piece, and for whatever reason, I cut a piece that was the same width as the bottom, because our pockets have the pleats in them. You want a little bit more. So we're going to take the length, and I explain this in the pattern. You're going to add on a little bit. So this is actually going to be longer so we can make those pleats. I'm going to press it in half, right sides out, and then we'll work on those pleats, which are very easy to do.
Marilyn is baking cookies today. Brenda says the big thing, I got the packages out in the mail.
Yep.
Good morning, Nancy.
Okay, so I just pressed it the long way in half, right sides out, and then we can work on our pleats. So what I'm going to do, and you know, it's really not scientific. I'm going to mark my middle again, which is already marked because that's where I started sewing. And then I am just going to put a couple more marks. So we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. So you have your center and a mark on each side. And what I'm going to do is take a pin, and I'm just going to put a pin right at those marks so I can see my pin sticking out. And one in the center.
Lisa says she loves the quilt behind you.
Thanks. And one on the other mark.
Colleen needs to get some baking done also.
All right, so we have our center, and I did 2 more marks. And what we're going to do is make sure my raw edge is by my raw edge. And the first thing I'm going to do is hook my side. You don't have to use pins. With this one, you can use clips. Then I'm going to take my other end, and I'm going to come over to the other side, and I'm going to clip. Now we can start making those pleats. So you just fold in about 1/4 inch, and the first one I'm going to do is over on the side. So I'm going to fold it in about 1/4, but I don't want to go clear to the edge because we're going to put binding on. So I want to go to and leave about 1/4 inch. So I've made my pleat not clear to the end, and I'm just going to put my clip on it. Then here's my pin, first pin. So I'm going to make another pleat. And I just want my pleat to come to that pin.
Stacy, yes, you can order a puzzle to donate to our local assisted livings, nursing homes, that type of thing. Just go into our Comment Sold store and find any puzzle. It doesn't matter. And you can put that in your cart, and in the comments just say donate on it or something like that, and we will pass those along.
So there is our first pocket. So I did this side. Now I'm going to come over and do this side. Same way. I'm just going to pleat this, bring it over to the side and leave about 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to take a clip and clip it at the bottom. Now I'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to pleat it. And where the side of my pleat meets where my pin is. So sometimes you just have to kind of work with it, and I'm kind of upside down on it, but that's okay.
Heather says
this is not scientific.
Heather says she has to put a binding on a Grinch quilt yet.
So. Okay. So now we have our 2 side ones done. We're just got to do the 2 middle. So same way, I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to meet that pleat right where the other one was. And there's my pin. So I'm going to put another binder right there. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the middle one. I'm going to pleat it where it comes to my pin. Sometimes you just have to work at it a little bit to, whoops, I forgot to do this side. Let's do that one quick. That's probably why I have a little extra fabric. Now we'll do a pleat to here. This pin. And a pleat to this one. So now we've got 4 pockets, and then where my pleats were, I just put one of my clips on each one. So now I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to sew about 1/8 inch, and I'm going to come down to attach. I'm going to sew across the bottom, and I'm going to sew up the other side about 1/8 inch just to hold that fabric together.
And as always, Amy is sewing on a Pfaff sewing machine. We would love to set you up if that is something that is in your plans, or maybe you surprise yourself.
Surprise yourself?
Yes.
Wow.
I like those surprises.
Do you? So as I get to my clips, and then make sure you take that little pin out too. Randy gets mad if you sew over a pin. And I'm just doing about 1/8 of an inch down. Clear over to the edge, and then back up.
And you can add to, maybe there's other things that you've been thinking about. You can add those to your list today also.
All right, so the only other thing that you need to do is here where your pleats meet, I am just going to tack down in between there to actually make that the pocket. Now careful you don't catch your fabric, that's the pleats. You're just going to sew down the center. When I get to the top, I'm just going to cut my thread.
Brenda said she had a first yesterday. She sewed in a pin top that was hard to get out.
Oh.
Never again will that happen. You live and learn, right,
We
Brenda?
always learn from our mistakes, don't we? Always learn from our mistakes. And then I'm just... There we go. So now I have my 4 pockets. Pretty cool, huh? So the only thing left to do is we're going to attach our ribbon. And I think on this one, I'm going to use black ribbon to go with the black behind the hearts. So I'm going to cut off 4 pieces of ribbon. And these are about 8 inches long. So let me cut off 1, 2.
April said she made a purse for a cousin in Texas, and she used it and apparently found the pin that she left in it.
I've had that happen a couple times on quilting people's quilts, that there was a pin left somewhere in there, and you can get them out. It might be a little challenging. All right, so what I'm going to do is down here at the bottom, so here's where our pockets are, I'm going to put it about 1/2 inch up, and I'm going to clip. And I want my ribbon lower than what this one. I want it to be about here. So it's about 3 inches above that one. So I am just going to measure up 3 inches. And we're going to clip another ribbon. So right about here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're just going to tack those down. So up about 1/2 inch, and then up 3 inches from that. And then I'm just going to, you don't have to, but I like to keep everything tacked because we're going to put binding on it. And I know that if I don't tack them down, something is going to get moved and I'm going to be disappointed in the end. So all I have to do is just do a quick tack down of my ribbons. Come down here and do a quick tack down. And then over here. And my nose is running because it's that time of year. Okay. Then, once I get that done, you want to make sure that you don't catch them in your binding. So I am just going to pull them all to the center, and I am going to clip them to my pockets. And I'm just going to clip a few strings in the back. And super easy to put binding on. Now, if you don't normally put binding on by machine, this is a great time to learn. Go start with your back of it. I'm going to start with this edge. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to leave myself plenty of binding. So I'm going to come almost all the way across, but I'm going to start stitching down here. And then I'm going to stitch all the way around. So I sew it this way on by 1/4 of an inch. Just like your normal binding. And then I'm just going to fold that up, back down. When you get to that curve, I just kind of pull my binding over.
Something else to remember, we don't necessarily mention it other than on Treat Yourself Tuesday, but everything you purchase on comments sold through Wise Monkey Quilting, you are receiving 5% monkey cash. So 5% of everything you purchase turns into monkey cash to be used. You can use it on any future purchase. So a great savings for you. Brenda is wondering, is it better to put on back or front?
If I do both sides by machine, I start on the back and then turn it to the front so I can see where I'm stitching and I have a nice even stitch along the front. If I'm going to do binding by hand, then I stitch it to the front, turn it to the back to hand stitch. But I always do back to front when I'm doing it by machine. And really, I do all my binding by machine because who has time to sit down and do binding? All right, so we're going all the way. And I'm just going to turn it to go around that little curve. When I get to about 1/4 inch, I just turn it and come clear off the corner. That gives me a nice corner to turn. Come a little ways and then I'll show you how I join them. So when I'm joining them, so I have my 2 long tails, I'm going to pull this to about center. And I fold it in half so I get a nice straight line, and I cut that off. Then I use this piece as my measuring, so I unfold it, I lay it right against where I just cut, I bring this tail over, and then I cut that off down here at the bottom of that piece that I laid on there. I make a little mark, I fold it in half so I get a nice straight cut. And then I can throw those two pieces away. Then I open up this one, so put them right sides together. I put a little clip on them so they stay together. And then I'm going to sew from corner to corner like you're doing binding, joining binding.
Dixie says that she probably does 90% of her projects. She hand sews them.
Okay.
She likes that. She doesn't regret the finished look.
Sure.
Jolene, you should have received your code, the email. That will come from Comment Sold, and it could very well go into your spam
folder.
Because it is going to have that attachment with it.
If
so
you don't get it, send me an email or call, and I can resend that email. So I'm just going to trim that off for that 1/4 inch.
But it would be an email from Comment Sold, not Wise Monkey Quilting.
Right. And I'm going to flatten that seam and finish sewing that on.
Deb says she uses a folded corner clipper to cut her binding.
That would work too. All right, so I have my binding on the back side. I'm just going to flip it over, fold my binding over, and finish my front. So when I do this by machine, and again, I got a lot little threads, and yeah, I'll come back and vacuum this, Randy. Don't worry, even though I'm throwing them all on the floor.
Martha says she does hand sewing on quilts of valor.
Okay. If I was going to make a quilt to take to the fair, I would hand sew my binding on, because you want to put out your very best. So it doesn't matter where you start. What I do is pull my binding around to the front, and then I go about 1 stitch width on the other side of where I sewed, and then I sew about 1/8 of an inch. And then you can just follow that curve around where we cut. When I get to the corner, I am just going to fold my fabric so I have a 40 to 45 degree angle.
I will remind everybody that the gift certificate sale does continue through Christmas. So both online through our app, Facebook Live, Comment Sold, and in store too. So if you're watching and you're in the area, maybe you need a gift certificate for somebody as a gift. Great way to do it, and we can get you set up with that.
So I just fold over and make a nice 45 degree angle right there. Come down the other way. Kind of gonna go right around that curve. Just cutting some strings off as I go.
Next week we will have a kind of a normal week here. It's,
no way.
Monday Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. We will join you with happy hour with the Healy's. Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Treat yourself Tuesday. Wednesday morning, it's our last sew along, and it's block, is it 10 or 11? 10?
10.
So it'll be the last one, and then we'll take a couple of weeks off for Christmas and New Year's. And then Friday morning again, we will join you right back here for breakfast, another version of Breakfast with Amy. And it might be the last Breakfast with Amy for the year too. So, but we'll keep you up to date on that.
Right. All right, I'm down to my last corner, folding it to a nice 45 degree.
Linda, just give us a call here. I haven't even put the pencil to it yet to see what if you wanted additional cups. Just give either Amy or I a call here at the store, and we will let you know. They're not expensive by any means, but we can give you a price on that.
All right, so I've got my binding all the way around. I can unhook my ribbon, and you're just going to take your cup. It just folds right into the top, really nice. And then you just bring it back to the side, and I'm going to tie the ribbon in a bow. And got poked in there. Tie a bow at the top. So yeah, I like this. I put the ribbon down a little lower. Definitely like it better. Isn't that adorable? And it does not take very long at all. You can put now your stuff in it to organize, and then you can put clips in. You can even hook your clips to the outside if you want. And you have the 4 pockets in the inside for storage. Isn't that cute? It comes together so quick and easy, and you can just have fun with that to organize your sewing area.
And maybe not even just your sewing area. You know, if you want a pen holder and a few other things on your desk.
Right. So maybe you want this at your other desk for pins. So that's our cup caddy holder. Isn't that fun? All right, so when you order your fabric bundle for this, you're going to get your 2 fat quarters. You're going to get that cup. Now it does sometimes, some of them are in other colors, but you only see the bottom. And you're also going to get some coordinating ribbon to put on the back. For all of that for $12.99. It sold 100. The one that I did previously, this really nice dusty green with the pink, that one is sold 100 green. Isn't that pretty? Super pretty. Then the one I did today is called Hearts. Now, if you want to do this as your hearts and the pink as your pockets, you certainly can. They're both just fat quarters. You can switch them up and do them however you want. Sold 100 hearts. We have this great one with the green grunge and the floral. Really pretty. Brighten up your area. Sold 100 flowers. We have this nice teal. So a dark teal, and then this one's kind of got teal and brown swirls on it. Sold 100 teal. And our last one is yellow daisy, because it's yellow and it's flowers, it's daisy flowers. Isn't that pretty? So you can easily make your pocket with this and have your daisies going up. So sold 100 yellow daisy. Then if you need batting for the center, we have our Quilter's Dream, which is what I use. It's a nice thin batting. It's a 36-inch by 46 by 36 for $9.99. We'll make lots of these. Sold 101. And I always want to bring, and that's what fell on the floor, that a neutral Pima thread number 8003, and it rolled clear over by Randy, so I'm not going to worry about it. If you need a Pima thread neutral, $12.99, sold 103.
Let's see, Julie, the size of the cups, it's going to be, if you're going to want like a 22 to 25 ounce stadium cup, that is, Lisa says she made one for her husband, used a favorite sports team.
That absolutely, you could do it like that.
Let's see. Pam says she was thinking of using empty cottage cheese containers.
And in my instructions, so all you have to do is purchase one bundle. You will have the pattern and you will have instructions to do whatever size you want. It will tell you how to measure your cup, to cut your fabric, and then you can do it however you want.
Susan says it would work for pre-wrapped candy too.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, makes a really pretty candy dish. Fill it full of chocolates. How fun is that? All right. So thank you so much for joining me for Breakfast with Amy. You can come back and see us 5 days a week. We'll be back Monday and Thursday next week at 5 o'clock for Happy Hour with the Healy's. Every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for Treat Yourself Tuesday. Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock, Sew Along. And Friday mornings for Breakfast with Amy. So have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. And hopefully all of your holiday plans are coming together for you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.